Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. This is episode 359. This week, we're going to be talking about some upcoming tournaments, including the Scott Porter Invitational and a Highlander Games pre-release, as well as discuss some things we saw in the Game Trade magazine, like Rally from the new Empire set. And of course, we have our economic advisor, Ian, is in the podcast studio this week, and we're going to be talking about the Wonder Woman pre-release, the prices, what figures we think are going to be going for good prices, which ones you should hold, which ones you should trade, which ones you should sell, which stocks, and by stocks I mean Heroclix, you should invest in. And if you want to know all this and more, then just keep playing the episode, baby. Like I said, this is episode 358. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional...
Heroclix?
No.
Are you serious? Again? How many people even play this game? Like 100? Instant deadpan humor.
Over 6 people think I am funny.
It's the hard day's work. Not that you know anything about that.
You absolute fools, it's not.
Witcher nonsense.
I'm gonna make Heroclix like that forever. Are you kidding me?
Hey Google, attack someone.
Let's attack Simeon because he's a jerk.
Wow. Dial H for Here, who's is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure you check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Use code DIAL5, DIAL5, for 5% off your order. Joining me, like always, in the studio is the current Dial H for Heroclix champion, the Billion Clicks Bruce. What's going on, Simeon?
Too many generics, Calder. Oh, there's too many generics.
Okay. Well, I don't know what I expected. It was not that. And then, of course, joining us for this episode is going to be Ian. What's going on, Ian?
Not too much, man. Excited to be on the show again. You know, there is a lot to talk about, and Simeon's right. There is a lot of generics.
Perfect.
Okay. Awesome.
Got it on the first take.
And
You know,
speaking of the first take, we really should. I mean, we haven't really accurately introduced Ian as his new podcast partner. I don't know. What do we call it?
that's a good question. I guess director.
director, right? Yeah,
So-
that's the first word that came to my mind.
He's our Steven Spielberg to our Harrison Ford and Short Round, I guess is the title I will take.
Yes, you are. Okay, I was about to say now, I'm for sure Harrison Ford in that situation. You can choose any side.
You can be Shia
You're more of
LaBeouf.
a.
I guess since you're younger than me, you can be Shia LaBeouf and
I
I'll be
could be
Harrison
Shia
Ford.
LaBeouf if we go with that. If we go with that route, I was thinking I would be Harrison Ford.
Well, then I want to be Michael Bay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Ian fits more Michael Bay. So I got to be
There's
Shia
gonna be a
LaBeouf.
lot more
Does that
explosions.
Yeah.
For the
Give me
listeners that have
Bumblebee,
no
man.
clue what we're talking about, we are in the makings of. It's not quite Extreme Rules Part 2, but it is Part 2 of the Billion Clicks Bruce versus Sexy Ranch Hand. It's the sequel, I guess.
It's in the universe.
Yeah,
it's in the Extreme Rules
Definitely
cinematic
the
universe.
Yeah, in the Extreme
Yeah,
Rules
that-
Cinematic
yeah.
Universe. We're in the middle of filming Part 2. So the Patreon members have seen a little bit of they've seen a tiny clip, exactly like 2 seconds of the clip. And other than that, yeah, no one knows what I'm talking about. But looking back in time, if you're listening to this, you will know exactly what happened. And I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Oh yeah.
It's a good time, and it's going to be a good time. Starting the show, we always start with what made us happy this week. Ian is our guest, so Ian, you can go ahead and go first. What made you happy this week, my man?
So my buddy Luke came back from Omaha, came to Sioux Falls, and we got to play some in-person Heroclix. So that was a ton of fun. We ended up playing like a sidekick only game where we had the alchemical potion on the sideline, and each turn we'd roll a die, and then whatever power you rolled, all of your sidekicks got. So that made for some pretty funny interactions, turns where everybody had TK or Flurry was just absolutely brutal.
Oh, man.
And that was honestly a ton of fun. And then on top of that, we had some of our own special rules. I don't need to go into that, but yeah, the sidekicks are really fun if you, add some flair to them, I guess. But then I also got to finally play my Chase Dooms in person, and Sorcerer Doom
Nice.
is nasty. He's really fun, and he is brutal. So
So
yeah, if you
Sorcerer
don't have one
Doom,
yet and you're considering it.
he's the one that has the reroll within like range, but it's not prob, right?
Yeah, every attack he
Yeah.
can re-roll if it's within range and line of sight. And when you have a team that's like dropping pogs or a lot of attacks and he's just chilling in the background, he's hard to deal with if you have that front line. I mean, he's got Mystics too, 8 range, double target, Psychic Blast. Like he's fun and he's scary.
20 super senses or 20 defense with super senses. It's 18 with energy shield, but if you're shooting at him, it's a 20.
Oh yeah.
I pulled him in sealed, and yeah, he does a lot of work. Not great as far as like protecting you. It's hard to get like the line on all of the opposing characters, but yeah, if you have a full field of decent attackers, being able to reroll every single attack is just nuts. That's not something that
It's
you
super
normally
awesome.
see.
It's super awesome. And then yeah, so it was just really nice to see Luke again and play some in-person Heroclix. And yeah, that was about it. That was my weekend.
Oh man! And I
All
bet
right,
what
sweet.
made him happy was coming back to Omaha, back to civilization, the real world, as I like to call it.
Yikes.
The big
I don't know
town
if I call it
of
civilization.
Omaha.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're civilized here. It's true. Sometimes we are.
Occasionally.
Oh, you could have
Not
fooled me.
recently. Not recently if you look at the news, but most of the time it's fine. Most of the time.
All right, Simeon. Well, what made you happy living in the civilized world of Omaha and whatnot this week?
Made me happy, as it usually does. It's just being better because I was raised in Nebraska. No. What made me happy this
Still high
week?
class.
I know. I can't keep it up. What made me really happy this week was just interacting with our Discord. Man, did we have a wild last couple of days between people just photoshopping my face all over the place.
That was pretty good.
It's pretty hilarious time in there right now. We've had some good conversations and some pretty hilarious.
They better
ideas
watch their mouths. Not gonna lie, some of them need to realize who's
Yeah.
sending their tokens to them.
that Chance McCall might get put in a headlock pretty soon.
Yeah, he's on
He
thin
keeps it
ice.
up.
He's on thin ice.
Not
For a
to
guy
name
who's like
drop.
5'2" and like 100 pounds soaking wet, he sure does have a big mouth. Just saying. Anyways, he's not 5'2".
Yeah, but no, it
yeah.
really is. Man, what a fun little group we've cultivated.
We really have.
I'm not amazingly proud of like everything we do, but when it comes to like our Discord and just like the fan responses and people that like message us and stuff, I am pretty proud of like the whatever you want to call it. Not necessarily like the followers we have, but just like the interactions the community have with us especially. It seems pretty good.
It's a really good interaction because they're definitely the most, passionate about the content we make. They, support us and everything financially, which, the show is possible thanks to them. So we're super thankful for everybody that joins the Patreon and is on the Discord. And then we just get to have some really fun conversations, which I always enjoy. As much as I may give them guff about that, I really enjoy it. What made me happy this week, though, I went to Sioux Falls this last week, bounced on my Heroclix buddies because I had never checked out the falls. I'd never actually seen Sioux Falls' falls. Just put that in some word garbage there, but it was really cool. It was really pretty. It blew my mind that I'd never been there before. So I just walked around, enjoyed it. It was really cool. So I had a really good time. I was like, man, because like on one of the sides it says you used to be able to hear this for miles around. And I'm like, yeah, before there was a city here, you could probably hear it for miles around. But no, the falls are really cool. I'm always impressed by South Dakota's landscape and how different we are everywhere, from the Black Hills to the Badlands to the plains and the rolling hills, the falls, and then most of East River is pretty flat and boring. But West River, obviously,
I was going to
the
comment
best.
On that. From the fields to the fields.
To the fields and the fields and the fields. But yeah, there really is some like pretty cool stuff if you go check it out and look for it, So I was enjoying that. I was enjoying that out inside, sort of not really nature, but very much still inside like the industrial part of Sioux Falls, downtown area. But yeah, that was really cool. But all right, guys, we are going to jump into the news. We got a packed week this week. Kalder and Simeon, that's me. We're going to talk about a few things. So Scott Porter / WizKids posted on Twitter the other day about the, we're just going to call it the Heroclix for Huntington's event. It's also sort of a Scott Porter invitational, as they said. The invitational. So who is getting an invite? I don't know. I imagine quite a lot of people. But I'm just going to read what they have here so that way everybody has the information. There's really cool prizing. And prizing that only WizKids can do. So let's just get into it because we have a lot to do the show. Hello everybody out there in Heroclix land. This once again is Scott Porter. I'm here to invite you to the first annual Heroclix for Huntington's event weekend, an incredible Heroclix event taking place virtually. So everyone can play it. That's why can play in it. That's why we're talking about it. It's going to be May 14th, 15th, and 16th of 2021 in WizKids at the Rock, all benefit to the Huntington's Disease Society of America. We will have something for every Heroclix fan out there, whether it be our Friday night auction for weekend-long raffles, for the collectors, a wonderful Silver Age tournament on Saturday, and that also says Scott Porter Invitational, with an emphasis on fellowship and fun for the more casual players, or our Modern Age tournament on Sunday for the players who really want to push themselves. It goes into what Huntington's is, so if you guys want to look that up, there's a lot out there, and I will link into everything for the hdsa.org. That's going to be in the podcast description. Scott's, I believe, wife and mother-in-law also have this, so they live with that. So if you want to have his family story, there's also a YouTube video to that, so this is a personal thing. So if you guys want to learn more about that, you can. But for right now, we're going to jump into the prizing for the tournament. So the prizing for the event is, as he says, out of this world, chock full of goodies that you have to come to expect. Major events, factory sets and LEs, as well as an incredible auction items and prizes you will only find at the Heroclix for Huntington's event weekend. We will have a tournament legal limited edition pogs and maps only available through this event. We will have previously unreleased figures for you all to bid on. I will lose my mind. If Sting is there to bid, I have to own him. Sadly, I would have to own him. And here's the thing: is David Newmark has said he's bidding. If you don't know who that is, listener, he's just a gentleman that definitely has plenty of. He can splash the pot with all he's got. Is he possibly type of deal.
Dropping $30,000 to host a tournament in Florida for no reason other than there hasn't been a tournament in a while? Yes, he is.
That should give you a scale. So hopefully he bids on some stuff that I'm not interested in. And also to bid on, one lucky player will have the chance to pick a figure to receive a legacy card in a future set. Ladies and gentlemen, if you win, if this is a tournament prize, I will pay you a large sum of money to make that the Hammer of Thor, Smoky Foot, Captain America.
I will also put forth some money for that.
I will match that money to make it Bombastic Bagman instead. I will match
basically, if we want to give a legacy card to anyone but Unimind, I'm also okay with that.
We will pool our.
There's actually several characters. There's actually quite several characters that I'd be like, please don't give this character a legacy card. So yeah. Anyways,
we need a legacy card for I think it was Infinity Challenge Thug. I think they could really flesh him out.
Oh, they really could
change that point value. Yeah.
Also, as well, what's going on here? One lucky player, legacy card in a future set. 3 lucky winners and bidders will have their own likenesses made into a custom switch-click Heroclix sculpt that they can paint and play with on any switch-click base in the game. So here is, I'm gonna pause here again because number one, dang, bro, you gonna make me paint this? Fine, that's fair. Second, if it's tournament legal to be on a switch click, then I'm like, oh, baby, let's do this. Because there are a lot of characters that have switch clicks, and I've actually lost sculpts to some of them, so I can't, play them, So if it's tournament legal to play your version, your switch click, and you can, swap out all of the Avengers, Masters of Evil stuff, all the Fantastic Four, Cosmic Clash stuff, the deep cuts, that's really cool if it's tournament legal. If it's, and it's just sort of you on a switch click sculpt, then it's not as cool. But if it's like expressly like you can play that tournament legal, that's pretty sweet. And then also, one lucky winner will get to design a tournament legal POG for 2022 and beyond. So he says our 2022, so it might be just for the Huntingtons, any future tournaments they run, but hopefully it's you just get to make a POG.
That might be like one of the more exciting little tidbits that was kind of slipped in, but this tournament is going to be the first of what sounds like a yearly thing going forwards. So that's pretty awesome.
I hope so.
Yeah. All the fun and excitement is for an amazing cause. We try to use our collective community to end Huntington's disease and support those living with it. So let's roll some virtual dice, raise some real money for this incredible organization. Every cent raised will go directly to the HDSA to arm them in their fight to cure and their mission to support those tens of thousands of Americans battling with Huntington's disease right now. And then he, of course, Scott Porter, ends it in a very Scott Porter way. Until I see you at the event, or even if I don't, may all your rolls be critical hits. So some things that weren't mentioned in this little document here. Actually, boom, as you scroll down, wow, the things are mentioned in this document here. So Friday, 7 p.m. CST, the online auction. It's going to be the Heroclix Cafe on Auxit. There have been Heroclix auctions on Auxit before, so this is going to be there. It's going to be a live auctions. Once again, Scott Porter is going to be live streaming it on the Auxit site prior to the auction beginning, where you can go ahead and interact with Scott, so that's really cool. He's also going to be present in the room during the auction. A list of all the items and pictures will be available for you to view on Thursday, May 10th, so it's right like the day before. Items will be put up for bid in groups of 5 or 10 items at a time. Then a new group of items will begin after all the bidding has concluded from the prior group. There is no sniping on Auxit. Last second bidding extends the time. That's my biggest fault with eBay is the
my
2-second
favorite part of
boop.
eBay.
You don't even have time. Simeon.
Yeah.
Next time I see you, I'm gonna punch you in the throat, bro. I lost so much cool stuff because someone's like, boop, $100 bid. Well, dang,
it's
man.
literally like in a Weird Al song. It's in a Weird Al song.
I hate you. I hate sniping. The man with more money should always win. The man, and as the Billion Clicks Bruce, you should agree with me.
Well, if you've got more money, then just bid it before the last second. Put your highest bid.
I can't do that. Well, I still want to. Yeah,
you still want to get a good deal.
Within reason here.
Hopefully, I'm not going to snipe. I'm going to
punch you in the mouth. Simeon will be getting punched in the throat next time I see him.
That's fine. We'll get it on camera. It'll be.
They think I'm joking.
Hey, make sure
I don't want to besmirch the Auxit. I don't want to besmirch the Auxit brand at all. I've only participated in a few of their auctions. Occasionally, they do have issues where the time should have been increased and then just wasn't. But they've been pretty good about moderating, I guess the word would be, where when something like that happens, like there's usually someone there to watch it. And I imagine for this occasion there will be even more eyes, so hopefully all the kinks will be completely worked out. Yeah. And the app, for anybody interested in this particular portion, the app is spelled AUXXIT, and there is a Heroclix Cafe group inside of there. There's several groups with like auctions and different stuff. It's for all kinds of different stuff. But yeah, you can find.
I'm going to try to put all the relevant links in the podcast description, and I'm going to say that as many times as I can during the show, so I actually remember to do it after the show. But yeah, hopefully that'll be a link in the podcast. Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. They're doing it all based on Central, which is muy caliente. I love that. Scott Porter Invitational, $30 entry purchased here. It has a link to the entry purchase. It's going to be 300 point Silver Age. Figure ownership is not required. Build sheets for Silver Age are due on May 12th. It's going to be 5 rounds of Swiss, cutting to top 16. The amount of Swiss rounds could increase depending on players' attendance. Pricing structure to be announced soon. A small break will occur between Swiss play and the top cut. So, cool. There are charity probs. Charity probability control is going to be available for a $1 donation per each use of charity probability control, limited to 5 uses per player per game, and are only allowed during the Scott Porter Invitational. Charity probability controls are only allowed during the Silver Age event. So, charity probability controls are a global effect and are not restricted by any game elements. Each player is responsible for keeping records of their charity prop, all right, and are responsible for documenting the amount used when giving game results. An invoice will be sent after the tournament to ensure probability controls are paid. The ban list for Silver Age. Now, we had seen a Silver Age ban list before. I think they really wanted to express that this is a casual event, so the ban list is going to be the Blackbird, all ID cards, XDPS Legion's B Dial, and the Joker's Wild Fast Forces Penguin. Personally, I don't think you need to ban the Blackbird once you ban all the ID cards, but that's fine. They're just keeping the same ban list, and then they're adding the Legion B Dial, and they're adding all the ID cards. Please see the Rock Silver Age errata section of all Rock rules for all temporary erratas in place for this tournament. So there's that. So that is going to be Saturday. 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. also on Saturday is going to be Battle Royales, $10 per entry purchased here. So take a chance, roll some dice, our Wonder Woman Battle Royales going throughout the day. Win some amazing prizes. Have a chance to play with Scott Porter himself as one of the players in your Battle Royales. That's really cool. All day that day, there's also going to be raffles, so don't have time to join the fun. They're going to be running HeroClix raffles all day for a $5 donation. Tickets have to be purchased by 11:59 p.m. that Friday, so the day before, in order to be entered. Then it also, once again, this whole thing has links. So I'm going to send you guys a link to the Google Doc, and there's all the links are going to be in this for raffles, for tournaments, for purchase and entry. Sunday, May 16th. This is going to be 10 a.m. CST start time. Modern Age Invitational. Once again, it's going to be $30 purchase. Ownership for figures is not required. 5 rounds of Swiss, cut to top 16. It says again, Swiss rounds could be increased depending on player attendance. And then it's once again, a small break will occur between Swiss play and the top cut. And then it goes on to say Battle Royales will also be 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. All day raffles. And once again, it says you got to purchase them before midnight on Saturday. That is the Scott Porter Invitational. I am excited. I like the idea. This is more creative. Let me think of like the best words to say here. Before, WizKids had one cool prize. There was one really cool prize, and that was you got to design and make a figure, choose a figure to be in the game. Now with Switch Clicks and Legacy cards, you figured out a way to give more cool prizes to people, and I really dig that, and I think it's a good cause. And I really like the event. So what do you guys think about all the information I just barfed at you?
I mean,
Honestly,
I'm always down for
really cool.
a charity event, like regardless of the prizing and everything. I never expect to win. That being said, you will definitely see me in the casual, the Silver Age tournament, and you will absolutely see me in the Battle Royals. I'm assuming they're going with the new rules because Wonder Woman will be legal at this point, and so with that in mind, I'm actually really excited. This will be one of like the first big tournaments that use the Wonder Woman rules, and in my opinion, it's going to be a ton of fun. Like, I already love the Wonder Woman rules as far as like what we've played. I have a few gripes, of course, about like knockback and stuff like that, but as far as like having these tiny little tertiary characters that can't normally do a whole lot, being able to ignore pushing damage, that's pretty awesome, and it's been pretty fun in me and Calder's like Thursday throwdown games. So I'm excited to get used to the new rules and have a big tournament that really like showcases them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I would probably find myself also on the more casual side. I think that's where a lot of the fun is. So hopefully nobody decides to bring stuff like Unimind or anything like that.
Oh, it'll be there. You know, I mean, with
be
prizes on the line, you know, people will be bringing out like the worst of the worst.
And then they'll apologize to you after the game and, oh, sorry, I had to.
Actually, I'm only playing this figure because I'm trying to get it banned. I'm like, okay, man.
I'm only playing this figure because, you know, if I didn't, I'd lose. And I'm like, yeah. And losing is just not something that's capable for you in Heroclix.
I just wanted to prove
I
how
don't know.
busted it was, even post-rotation.
So just throwing it out, what speaking of like Silver Age, I'm assuming all three of us are playing in the Silver Age tournament. What kind of builds are we doing?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do you have an idea, Calder?
Serpent Society. They are so bad, but I really like the Serpent Society. So it's honestly it's sort of between them, and it's going to be like I shake my opponent's hand right away type of deal, or I might try to get creative, since I might try to go back further instead of just like Spider-Man as far as Silver Age goes. There are lots of figures I miss playing in those older sets, so I'll sort of see. But Servant Society is the first thing that comes to my mind, or a fun Devil Dinosaur team, like a full path style team.
Dinosaur.
Devil Dinosaur.
Devil Dinosaur
awesome.
with Pogs that don't die when you push them. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good to
See,
me.
Pogs are getting better. So, yeah, I might do a Devil Dinosaur or Servant Society team. Probably lean more toward Devil Dinosaur if I want to actually play games, you know? So, yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking at.
Yeah. I'm looking at one of my like old favorites, like a past keyword with Devil Dino, potentially Devil Dino, a Maradroid, some JSA stuff.
Yeah.
Like some, I really love like that, the Joker's Wild set. What it like it just had a ton of past keyword. Alternatively, the entire Sinister Six from Earth X. Those are still
those
like one of my favorite like theme teams to run. I mean, it literally just rotates. I don't even know if it'll be rotated at the point when this tournament happens, but it'll technically be older than what most people are going to probably play, and I love that team. I love Beetle giving a +1 when I share my attack value, and there's just like so much synergy to be had with it. There's a ton of Perplex, Outwit, theme probs. Good stuff.
Sure.
I'm leaning towards the Super Friends. New rules, they all get willpower. I love the Super Friends. So
nice.
Apache
that's a
Chief
consideration
gets
for me,
willpower
for
on
sure.
a 3 through 6 as soon as he turns into a big man.
Once he's big. Yeah.
Very
his-
nice. Very nice.
You got map wide big man going on, and he's taking tokens off. That's pretty good.
Yeah, a Nuck Chuck. I don't think he gets any worse because, I guess you can't perplex and single target Quake or something, but still, map wide Quake for 2 damage is really solid. And one time I crit hit that, so it's possible to do it again.
I personally, I love the Batman. I love how he gets to pick an attack power. You can usually, but he only has 4 range, so it's never that incredible, for the most part.
Right.
But Smoke Cloud Poison
I love
in the same
pulling
turn
something cool off with him.
I think he's got Outwit on his lower dial too. You can Outwit, Smoke Cloud, Poison all on the same turn because you haven't moved. The Robins are fun. Yeah, that team's got a ton of synergy too. They're just all.
I really like Green Lantern too. He was on so many of my builds for the longest time, like TK barrier sidestep.
Oh, it's just good. Enhancement,
he's not
TK
insane, but
barrier
he's good.
Yeah, dude, he's
He's
good.
just good,
He is good.
Enhancement has some
30
increased value too, so
Oh yeah,
who knows?
dude, totally.
Can't push the running shot pulse wave anymore, but
Is a bummer.
having willpower on everybody, pretty worthy trade.
You're taking that good with the bad, as it always is. And then now I look at the Deadpool and the X-Force set, which is probably one of my favorite sets in Silver Age, and I'm like, man, I could try to make Swarm work again. I always try to make Swarm work, and he never does. But I might try. Yeah. It should be really fun. Simeon, do you want to talk about Rally really quick so we can break up between me talking about double tournaments back to back?
Yeah. So. From Game Trade Magazine and I believe Heroclix Brazil, we got a little sneak peek. I'm sure Game Trade Magazine is going to post the full article later this week, hopefully, or something. But this is from the X-Men, is it Rise and Fall, I believe is the name of the set? X-Men Rise and Fall. We were shown a single base Sentinel that's a giant size, has a sideline effect, a Colossus common with a rally effect, a Mystique super rare with impervious in place of shape change because benched powers are still a thing.
Yeah.
We don't need to really get into that. But so I'll read the text for Rally real quick. So this is going to be the text that is on all rally characters, all characters with the rally trait. And the text reads, it's on the back of the card, it says, once per roll, for each die in a finalized attack roll, and for all characters with a matching rally die and trait color printed under their trait star. So, matching rally die and trait color printed under their trait star means if they have a different rally die, or if they have a different printed color under their trait star, that this does not apply for them. So it's possible to actually get a few of these to kick off on the same turn or on the same attack. So once per roll for each die. So you normally roll two dies in an attack roll. After resolutions, you may choose a friendly character to gain a matching rally die. Rally trait colors specify which attack type they can gain a rally die from. So blue is friendly attack rolls, red is opposing attack rolls, and then green is both, all attack rolls. So when a character gains a rally die, place a die with the matching result on their card. Colossus has a red with red with 5. So his goes for opposing. So rally on the surface, it seems like a lot of text. It seems really difficult to kind of decipher. I've seen a few people say like this is a really difficult concept. We've seen this before. So basically, red opposing, green opposing, blue friendly, green friendly. Like green is all, so it applies to both. If you are attacking with a friendly and you have a die roll that matches the color on a rally trait, which the rally trait under the star has the die and the color that corresponds to it. Pretty simple stuff. So for Colossus here, it's red. That means only opposing attack rolls. That means when there's an opposing attack roll, and according to this, it's map wide. So once per attack roll for each die. So if they roll a 1 and a 5, that's a 6. And then you prob it. That's not a finalized roll. So let's say after you prob it, they roll a 2 and a 5. Now that's like the finalized roll. There's no more probs. That's what finalized means. One of the dies is a 5. If you choose Colossus, because he is a character with the red rally thing, and you choose him to be the one that gains the die, he can steal that 5. Now, potentially, there could be somebody with a red rally that has like a 2, and they could take the other die, because it just has to be for all characters with matching rally dies and trait colors. So maybe it'd have to be like green and a 2 or something. The colors would have to be different. But basically, if one of these dies show up during a friendly attack roll or an opposing attack roll, depending on the color, and one of the dies in the roll, in the finalized roll, the final, this is what either misses or hits roll, if it matches what is printed on their card under the trait, you can place a die on the card. Does that sound simple enough, guys?
Yeah.
I think
Did I overstep and make it more complicated? I'm trying to make it really simple, but it seems real simple in my brain. It's so basically,
I think once people play with it, they'll understand it a lot easier.
Basically, it's red, green. Did opposing character roll this number that is on the card? If yes, you can put it on that card. If no, then you don't do anything. Blue-green, did a friendly character, and I think the friendly ones will be a lot easier to control this. You'll be able to do a lot more attacks and stuff with friendlies where you actually have this opportunity. So blue-green, did a friendly character roll one of these dies in the finalized attack roll? So it's like maybe you roll it and you're flurrying with so-and-so. You roll it, doesn't match, so you prob it. And then it matches. Then you keep that result. Or maybe you roll and you miss and you like the result, so you keep it. Then you can gain one of these rally dies. So for Colossus here, he has a 75 and a 50-point line. His 75-point line, he starts with Charge Quake and 4 damage that goes down to 3. on his 50-point line, he starts with Charge Blades, which is his blades power is called Scrap Metal. So, like, I just imagine like either really bristly hair on his arm that he's like scraping people with.
That's a scrap metal.
Or he's like, yeah, I've got this gross scab, but when I turn metal, it becomes a razor blade. I don't know. WizKids is trying here, man. I mean, this is literally the first ever Colossus they've ever made that didn't have super strength either traded or somewhere on the dial. So I'm not going to blame them for not putting super strength on the dial. It is a little weird, but at the same time, if you really have a gripe about it, you can reach back like one set, two sets, any X set, like any set where there's been a Colossus, he has super strength. So if this isn't the Colossus for you, then that's fine. His rally die is a red 5, so on an opposing attack roll, if there's a 5 in it, after resolutions, you can put that die on there. So that means if they attack Colossus, he doesn't get it for that attack, but he gets it for the next one. And then he has this special defense power that is impervious, protected, outwit, and his rally die, being the 5, lets him use that rally die for his impervious. So basically, if your opponent rolls a 5, at some point with Colossus having a 5 on his dial, he can use that to automatically succeed his impervious roll. As far as I know, there's nothing that reduces an impervious roll other than Namor, the Phoenix Force Namor that like reduces rolls by 1. So yeah,
definitely a figure to watch out for.
Important.
Yeah,
very
be
important.
careful when playing this Colossus against Phoenix Force Namor.
Oh, man.
You know, he only outcosts him by like 3 times, but
there are other characters in the set that are going to have this. So,
yeah. So
for
this
some
is
reason in that post, but I saw a Sabretooth somewhere who had like a 5 for
this is a Colossus
or blades or
that is a
and
common.
Obviously that's a bit more. Yeah,
and
like.
If we don't if we don't see a Wolverine with
Wolverine
like a 5 or 6 for blades, maybe somebody, I don't know. Why would you ever want to roll a 1 or a 2? Would they ever have a 1 or 2? Maybe for like swapping an opposing die. I don't know.
Something like that.
But I mean, yeah, I could see it for something.
That's Rally.
But yeah, that's Rally. That's the new
you haven't seen
thing.
Salvage yet. We saw a Sentinel, and I was like, oh, so the Sentinel ain't gonna get salvage? Seemed like a Sentinel thing to me, but all right, I guess not. So
I mean, salvage
we'll have to be on the lookout.
Could just be the low end of Rally. Salvage could be like a defensive form of Rally where you like swap out an opposing die or something.
Sure.
But yeah,
it could also be something like that. So that's enough about Rally. And that's enough about the stinky X-Men, how I hate the X-Men. Anyways, we're going to talk about the Highlander Games online Wonder Woman pre-release event that they're doing. So when is it? It's Saturday, April 24th at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. CDT, I'm guessing, because that's what it says here.
Central Daylight
on the event page. There will be a link to this event. It certainly is. How is it going to work? So on Wednesday, April 21st, they are going to be hosting a Facebook live stream, and they will be opening the packs for all the players who sign up. Each player will have their 2 packs recorded, and they will have that pool of figures to play with during the pre-release event, just like a normal sealed. There's going to be a judge. His name's Brian Galley. He's going to be running and overseeing the event, both for the live stream, opening the packs, and the online event on Roll20. Entry fee is going to be $30 if you pick your packs up at the store, wherever the store is, Highlander Games, or $34 to have the figures mailed to you. Pretty reasonable. Ooh, Boonton, New Jersey. All right.
New Jersey.
He also said, guys, just so you know, you'll get your UPCs sent in with the figures when you buy them. So that is nice. I appreciate that for the store. You can pay with PayPal, or you can call the store and pay over the phone. They say message here for event info, confirmation info. So the pricing, pretty simple stuff, guys.
We are still unsure if they accept Bitcoin as payment, but we will look into it.
It's Dogecoin now.
Dogecoin also
Bitcoin
maybe.
Would probably buy Highlander
we'll see
Games.
Where it goes.
1 Bitcoin for Highlander Games, please.
All right, so first place is going to get 2 boosters and a play-at-home kit, obviously the Wonder Woman kit. Second place will also get a play-at-home kit and 1 booster. Third place gets a figure or the map from the play-at-home kit and 1 booster. Fourth place will get whatever third place didn't want from the play-at-home kit and 1 booster. Fellowship will be given to some random person outside the top 4, and they will get a play-at-home kit. So, pretty easy. They already have a Discord channel set up. You can go to their event page, look at our Facebook or Twitter, or actually just our Facebook will have a link to their Facebook event page. You can go ahead, you can go there, you can join the Discord. Not a lot of people signed up for this, guys. I'm signed up. I definitely want to play some Wonder Woman pre-release sealed. I think it'll be fun. So if you guys want to jump in this, just go ahead and check it out. And to end news really quick, I'll just throw one quick reminder for those of you interested in the Clicks Cup. That's going to be July 25th-ish weekend in Florida. Yes, I know, a summer in Florida, but it is a in-person Heroclix game if you want to go to it. So check out the Clicks Cup on Facebook. I don't think they're at max. They've used a lot of, and this is not me throwing shade at anybody, but it's like, oh, it's filling up quick. And I'm like, is it though? So definitely, if you are interested in the Clicks Cup.
I think they said 100 is like comfortable and then 20 spots for overflow. So there's definitely still room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's room, guys. So if you want to jump in that, but the deadline is the 22nd. So that is going to be this Thursday. You got to get that in, email, all that stuff. It's going to be at the Clicks Cup on Facebook. So we'll also have a link to that in the podcast description below, if I remember to put it there.
Very good.
And that's what I got. That's it for news. That's really it for news. And that's good because I don't want to talk about the news anymore. Instead, I want to hand it over to Ian, our economic advisor, our analyst. And we're going to be talking about some prices and things about the Wonder Woman set.
To not just affect the now, but affect the future.
7, 8, 8, 9, 6, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. You quoted 66 and 25. Sold them $66.
Heroclix.
Trade away.
Ian, why don't you go ahead and take the reins, my man?
All right. Awesome. So I'm sure everyone's aware that the Wonder Woman 80 set is coming out. Is it the 23rd of April, right?
Something like
that.
1 week. The 28th.
28th, gotcha. Okay. Well, it's coming up shortly, so there's probably some people out there looking to see, what figures are going to hold their value, what figures are, worthy of a dump, and what figures are going to absolutely skyrocket. And so this set, I'm a big fan of. Originally, I'm not a huge Wonder Woman fan, so I wasn't, too interested. But I got looking, and the more previews they had, I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to buy at least a case. So I'm in the same boat. But there are quite a few figures I want to talk about. I'll try to keep it short and sweet and just give my opinions on that. But we'll just start off with some commons. I think the generics in this set are just awesome. And 2 of them that I really think are going to be going for high value for their rarity are the German soldier and the Allied soldier. I think a lot of people are just going to want these, solely for, massive armies. And people are going to want a lot of them. I know I personally do. Kalder, I think you said something as well about collecting these guys.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll be so much fun for home games. There's another figure, Ares, who brings in Pogs with their stats, so people might want these as representations of those, which is just another use for them.
Also,
but I think this will be
Steve Trevor and Dr. Poison. Steve Trevor brings in Allies, the actual figure on Click 1, and Dr. Poison brings in the German soldiers on Click 1. So, there's several options to use these, but similar to how Mighty Thor, or was it the Mighty Thor? How they had the, several people could generate bystanders, like Hela could make warrior souls.
Oh, yeah.
And then the bystander also matched the warrior soul dial. So these are great placeholders in place of having bystanders, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm also a very big fan of that. But I think, these are going to work like cross-universe. They can represent a lot of stuff. For anybody playing home games, I think these soldiers are going to be pretty popular in terms of generics. So that's something to look out for, I think. If you want these commons, I think scoop them up as fast as you can, because once they're gone, once the set's kind of lost its hype, people are just going to hold on to these. They're going to want to keep their collection of them. So I don't really see any reason why they would go down after that.
Yeah, for these specifically, I think they'll start, like, most commons start pretty low, especially on, like, the secondary market. You might see them at, like, $2-3, but once the set's all sold out and they're gone and people still want these, they'll be, like, who knows, like $5-6 each. Like, Tribbles costed a ton for each individual one. And
those Doombots too, those got up to like $8-9 a piece, and it was
Doombots,
just like,
yeah. I mean,
man, people really miss Doom.
people are charging an arm and a leg on eBay for Doombots. If you miss the boat and you really want to get in on those, it's a little too late. Too late for them. The other generics, so the reason I really bought into the set is because I think it was 6 generics in the common slot, which I just love. I love that WizKids is filling out the commons with characters that you want multiples of. So Allied and German Soldier, the Amazon Warrior, not quite as good. 3 range, charge, combat reflexes, not terrible. Wonder Woman team ability. And these are all sidekicks too. Not for nothing, but they're all sidekicks. The Amazon Bana Migdal, the Amazon Bana Migdal, running shot with 5 range. Not terrible. It has the warrior keyword as well as the Amazon keyword. And then the DMA agent, probably a solid pass for me. It's a decent little PD piece,
yeah, same.
But probably a solid pass. Gorilla Knight, they have close combat expert toughness, without like sidestep, charge, anything like that, because it's basically just a static stat modifier across the dial now. So it's not like you have to sidestep and then close combat expert or anything like that. He's just an 11 for 3, his top 2 clicks. But there is somebody that can generate these as well. So if you're somebody that likes figure generation, like bystander and figure generation, I believe, is it Gorilla Grodd that makes them? Yeah, Gorilla Grodd makes them.
I believe, and then also the Prime.
The Prime, yeah, the Talifar Prime also makes them. Then the Minotaur, Maxi Zeus makes these. Minotaur is actually pretty solid. So I like Minotaur for 2 reasons. One, he's a Minotaur, so you can D&D swap him if you have extras and you want one on like a D&D base for whatever kind of encounter you're doing. It is a little weird because he's got a trench coat on, which doesn't quite fit with the D&D universe of what a Minotaur is. But he's got charged blades, so I mean, for 20 points, what more could you really expect for a?
He also destroys
figure?
Blocking on movement, which is
for 20 points, yeah,
very useful.
As somebody who like thinks that Molecule Man is probably like one of the most busted pieces, a 20-point figure that can get rid of blocking. Kalder, would you like a 20-point figure that could get rid of Molecule Man's blocking?
I would certainly enjoy that, especially after the last game I played against Molecule Man. Oh man, I'll tell you what.
That's up on our YouTube.
And he got 10 speed.
If you want to see,
10 speed's pretty solid. If you're especially just going to use him for getting rid of blocking, So
I mean, for 20, for 20 points to negate a Molecule Man, that's not bad. But yeah.
Also, monster keyword is.
Oh yeah. Not for nothing. Monster keyword,
pretty legit. Yeah.
Animal keyword. Both really, potential there. But yeah, I think that was the reason. Those were the reasons I really bought heavily into the set. Outside of like, as far as commons go, outside of like super rares and higher. But yeah, I think Ian's on the money with Allied Soldier and German Soldier, both being probably the generics that get really
get them right away.
Yeah.
Get them as soon as you can because. They're going to go up. They'll hold their value. People will want to keep their hordes of them. I know personally, I'm going to try and get as many as I can for some home games, and I will keep that collection. It's not hopefully.
Yeah.
Won't plan on selling them anytime soon. Minotaur definitely has some merit too, like the stats. There's no question about that. Will people build armies in the same regard as the soldiers? I don't think so. Could be wrong there. But I definitely think, the high picks in the common slot are going to be those soldiers for sure.
I mean, there's not the competitive viability for Minotaur, because when you're looking at like monster animal, for 20 points, you also have the 15-point Wendigo for at least
just
another
Wendigo.
year. So comparatively,
All right, fellas. All right,
clearly,
fellas.
there's like
As
a
the
big
moderator
winner.
of this show, let's please get out of the comment section of this set.
Okay,
Let's move,
sorry.
shall we? No,
Um,
no, it's not your fault, Ian. It's 100% Simeon's fault. 'Cause He
Yeah.
had to talk about Minotaurs for 5 minutes, and I just kind of want to go home now. So let's go ahead and get this bad
You're
boy
not at home?
rolling.
Why are you not?
Well, I am at home. It's just sort of a
Uh,
just leave me alone, Simeon.
For uncommons,
All right. Moving on.
for uncommons, nothing's gonna retain value. Am I wrong? Like the
No.
primes, maybe.
Don't even mention one. Don't even mention one,
Yeah.
Simeon.
Uncommons,
I think
rares.
the Talafar
I think-
is the only like potential, and he's the prime
Oh,
of
yeah.
Gorilla Grodd.
Ooh.
I mean, like, yeah, he'll stick around, maybe like $10-15, but I really don't see him moving much outside of that. Uncommon primes.
Uncommon
They gotta be
primes
insane.
typically don't go up. Like even
Yeah.
No, they don't. Even Vulture didn't go
Yeah.
up that much,
Vulture,
Vulture, like at his peak, was like maybe $30. So I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
don't see that happening. He doesn't. I just really don't think the want is there. If you want one, you'll be able to get one for a pretty reasonable price, and I don't see that shifting.
And so these aren't bad figures, but the deal is like with so many people opening so much product, there's going to be tons available, and nobody's
Yep.
going to make like a Medusa team where they need 7 of them or something like that. So
And you also don't need multiples because it's a prime. So
Not this Medusa.
right.
It's just not necessary. I think pretty much.
He might as well be.
uncommons
He might as well
to
be the
rares.
common prime too, because there is no common prime. He's the
Yeah.
lowest rarity prime, so it's not worth talking about. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
I mean, he's
agree.
worth mentioning.
I agree.
Because he's better than Donna Troy, in my opinion.
That is true. I will agree with that. Actually,
I would say of the two uncommon primes, he's the better of the two.
But they're
Into
not
the
going to move
rares,
price wise, which is the segment.
into the rares. Ian, what are you feeling in the rares? Is there anything of value to be found?
So I mean, rares. Typically you'll see a price point of anywhere from $3 to usually like $10 at the top end. Like even when they come with objects, unless they're absolutely insane, $10-12 is pretty much the ceiling there. I did want to talk about the rare prime a bit.
Giganta.
While she does take up a prime slot, I think this will probably be like a $30-40 prime figure. I think she's really solid for her point value. Wild card, Wonder Woman TA, really useful. Outwit, colossal retail. Like, she just does a lot. Is it worth your prime slot? I'm not sure. Do I think she'll go up massively in value? No. But I do think she will retain her value. I think she has her uses. So I think that'll be a solid 30 to 40 piece, and that's one that you can hold on to because I think she will still be useful.
It is worth noting that
for a
she does
while.
have the Secret Six keyword, which
Yes.
Oh, that is true.
the rest
yeah.
of the Secret Six check for. So
Yeah.
She will probably be the cheapest Secret Six.
She will
for a release.
most likely.
You need to fill it out.
I mean, at
But
least
the reason
at first,
I think she'll
yeah.
stay pretty static on price is obviously the Secret Six is going to be very expensive to run and, just to have in general. So how many people are really going to be going like, I need to get this Giganta for my $400, $500 team of Secret Six people? I think there'll definitely be demand for her, but not enough to really drive her up, I guess, would be how I'd look at it.
I think that's
because it
fair.
will be so expensive for that specific use.
I think unlike Diablo Prime, who is the rare from the last set, he came with an equipment that was good. If you didn't
And
get
he's
on
still
it
like
right away,
$25.
yeah, he's held value. Again, it's a prime, so it's not something that you need multiples of. I think most of the rest of the primes are going to go down, no matter how good they are. Primes are the majority of what you pull in bricks outside of commons and uncommons. So even Angleman coming with the Angler, I don't think the Angler makes a huge splash. At least
I don't either.
Not so much that he's
He'll
gonna
be a
go
$10
see like a
figure
huge
right
jump.
around there.
Yeah, so it'll be like $2 for the figure, $8 for the object kind of thing. And that's not to say
Absolutely.
don't pick one up cheap if you don't see it, but the rest of the primes, probably something that's going to drop just because people are pulling a lot. What do you think about multiples of the non-prime Giganta? Because she also has the prime Giganta has a lot going for her. She has the special defense power that says takes a maximum of 1 damage from character that aren't her size, which is giant, so tiny, standard, or colossal. The non-prime just has a static, takes a max of 2 damage from attacks. Do you think multiples at the 30 dial are like something people are going to grab? She has a decent amount of keywords.
I definitely see the possibility of it. I also just don't think Giganta is like that like prominent or interesting of a character, so there's not really any factor there that would drive her up. I could definitely see people stacking her, but at the same time, I think a majority of the time you are going to be playing her with Secret 6. She does have Scientist keyword as well. I think there's a lot of really, really strong options in the 30 and under point range.
Yeah.
So
and
stacking
she
is a possibility, but I'm not going to say that it's big enough to really cause a splash and people buying like absurd amounts of her, which is what would be required, being that she's a rare.
That's true. On
but
theme,
something of note is that she
does
also
do
is the rare
retaliation as
of
free.
the rare prime. Like the
so
that
she
means
might
there will be less.
She
of
might
her,
be
so.
more rare because the prime exists.
Exactly. So that could make her go up a little bit more, but I mean, she's not going to be like Shazam and Black Adam. Like Shazam rare, we saw him going for like $20 for a long time, which is, very uncharacteristic of a rare. But he was also a cool figure. He was made by a champion. And I think a lot of people just wanted him because he was Shazam.
That's true.
So Giganta, I just don't see those same qualities. Is it a possibility? Absolutely. Am I going to, shout in the streets, get as many as you can? Absolutely not.
I don't see people playing multiples of, well, clearly not of the prime because you can't, but of the non-prime at 30 points. I think moving forward, it'll be better to break theme. Unless you're playing Secret 6 and you need her for that, I think it'll be better to break theme and spend the 30 points on like Dark Phoenix or something like that, rather than 30 for her and keep theme. But yeah, unless there's like another DC set that releases this year that just blows me away. With what we have to work with, this is what will be there until rotation. And so yeah, I don't see anything really in the rare slot holding a ton of value outside of the prime, maybe.
And prime I'd put in the range of like $30 to $40, and I think she'll stay consistently around there. She's really good, but there are just so many good primes out right now that it's hard to justify a spike.
Yeah, because taking up a prime slot can do a lot.
We have a lot in the super rares. I'm excited to talk about these ones, and the first one I want to bring up is Green Lantern. I really like this Green Lantern. Excellent sculpt, comes with like a pseudo equipment, a construct, 2 very playable starting lines. The changes to flyers, being able to carry flyers. The construct that he comes with, I also think, is the best of the Green Lantern constructs. For those who don't know, it is the catcher's mitt, and it gives adjacent friendly characters energy shield deflection. At his top dial, he has 19 defend as well. So we're talking about a 21 from range, and you're carrying 8 people. And he can summon other constructs as well. So I really, really like this Green Lantern. I think if you pull this one, he's definitely going to be a figure that stays valuable. Just because people love Green Lantern, we don't see him a lot. He's very playable, just there's no question about that. And he's a super rare as well. Are you going to want multiples of him? Probably not. But I think just based on the character he is and the fact that I think he'll see some meta play. I definitely think Green Lantern is one that you're going to want to keep.
Yeah.
Is he going to explode
21's
with value?
from range?
Probably not. But he'll keep his value for sure.
Going forward, like, Pulse Wave isn't going to be as big of a deal, so you don't have to worry about them just completely getting rid of your defense value.
Right.
Yep.
Perplex probably won't be played nearly as much since you can't use it on damage. It's not quite as universal as it used to be of a power, so people will probably play less Perplex. I'm not going to want like a +3 attack if I can't also alternate that into damage when need be. So I think having a 21 for everybody adjacent to him that you carried up for range is real solid. I've played a lot of like teams where we all swarm around one person with like a big boost kind of thing. So I don't see why he doesn't get played. And his lower dial isn't like bad. So he's got his top dial. He's got 2 stop clicks, which for 75 points is really solid. Like
pretty dang good.
That's that's
and
really
at 50
solid.
points, running shot, psychic blast without wit. I mean,
super good.
That's
7
amazing
range
as well.
Yeah, and he still has that construct that's still giving him at least him a 20 if he like moves up and then generates it. A 20 for range, and he's got 7 range, so he's outranging most like modern stuff. That's slightly above most modern stuff. I think he's pretty solid. Now,
very versatile, very cool. I mean, the sculpt is just fantastic. Love the costume.
I think because he comes with a construct, depending, and this is like a one-off, like this doesn't really matter, depending on how they rule the constructs, because constructs are kind of like bystanders, but also kind of not, where they have a dial and they can be KO'd. According to the Wonder Woman starter pack rules, if you want to call it like the core rule book, which I don't think it's actually a core rule book at this point because I've read through it and it just doesn't seem like one. According to that, though, you can't generate things that are from your KO area. So if that ends up being the way things actually are ruled and you can't pull from your KO area to generate something, you will need multiples of let's say you want to make more than one catcher's mitt. You'll need multiples because your KO area is not some place that you can pull from. And as far as I know,
hope they change that. Oh,
yeah,
it doesn't seem
so
right
bad.
to me. Something about that just seems wrong.
It really doesn't.
Bad.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm completely off base and like just really wrong on that. But as far as I read it, like if I were to KO a bystander, I would expect it to go to the KO area. I don't know where else it would go. It wouldn't just like evaporate, KO. Yep. It was a game implement and it was KO'd. So it's not scored, but it should still go to the KO area, in my opinion. And then if it says generated objects or like generated whatever cannot be pulled from the KO area or sideline or whatever else it says, I could see if that ends up being the ruling for whatever reason, multiples of these Green Lanterns, because they come with that catcher's mitt, being like popular, because I can see the Sky being a really solid piece. I don't know what you play him with, but man, any kind of swarm team, any kind of
My first
Alpha
thought
Strike
was
team.
an army of Super Skrulls.
I mean, he's got that soldier keyword, baby.
They need that 21.
Yeah.
They need that 21 from range for sure. That's
Absolutely.
what Super Soldier.
Are you kidding me?
Super
Skrulls are
Skrull was
missing.
missing this whole time.
Yeah.
That's what it's all
Crazy.
about, dude.
And I mean,
The
a
next
19
figure-
from close isn't nothing to knock either. That's still a really hard hit.
Yeah.
I found myself like stuck in that position where I'm just like gotta rely on luck because there's like, I don't have enough perplex to go around kind of thing. So this is a figure that I really like, Ares 052, but I'm of the opinion that he probably won't go up in price. Is that what you're feeling, Ian?
Yeah, I think he'll be one of those figures that just has a high price from release, like maybe in like the, once again, like $30 to $40 range, just because we haven't seen Ares in a minute. I love the sculpt too, and I also think that he's like the most realistic option for winning with mission points. But really,
Sure.
I think what'll make him sell is just the fact that he's Ares. People miss him.
Absolutely.
Great sculpt. So
A
will
12
he
for 4 is
skyrocket?
real cool.
Probably
Yeah.
not. But he'll definitely hold some value. I think it'll. I think it's comparable to Silver Savage. I know he comes with an object and everything, but he's nothing fantastic. Like he's not incredible by any stretch, but he's really cool.
And
So
the
he's
other thing,
held
the other thing to
$35,
really note is he's unique. So if you do pull
Yep.
two, it's probably best to sell the extra since you'll never be able to play them both on the same team.
What? Is that how unique works, Simeon? No
It
way.
is, Cole. I know I'm
You learn
blowing your
new things
mind.
every
What?
day.
I had no clue, dude. I had
Thank
no
you.
clue.
Yeah.
All right.
Big
Yeah.
brain
So yeah,
moment
he'll
here.
be a pretty static one. I'd say, if you get a multiple, definitely sell it. He's not. His price probably won't go anywhere. He's not changing the game. Well, hopefully. I mean, somebody might find some weird loophole with his.
Unless,
I mean, he's
unless
definitely
mission
the
points
best
get a
way
lot
for mission
better.
points.
Yeah,
So,
he's definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely need to see some mission point buffs for him to be.
I don't think you're winning like a
realistic.
Nats, and you're definitely not winning a Worlds with the current mission points that we have. But
I don't want to
wouldn't
throw
say-
Aries under the bus yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like a WKO or States is out of the question with him.
The potential's there, but
Oh,
I'd
for
like
sure.
to see a little more support for mission points before I, once again scream out Aries. You gotta buy Aries.
Yeah.
I think there's players that who are adept at team building can probably definitely figure out the best way to break this guy with mission points. I just don't think I'm the person to do it.
The problem with a
on to
mission
the
points
next
build
one.
though is you just like you have to focus so much on it that you're probably playing like Ares and Waldo and I don't know, like maybe what's the like Hades, I don't know. You're probably playing like several and then you just don't have a ton of offense. So if you go against the team that's just like dominating you offensively and you don't have enough like barrier and like ways to protect yourself, I just don't see it like working. So like alternatively, Ares for just 125 points is a pretty solid like stat figure, and I really like his like stats and all of his powers. But
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's
Well,
worth
another thing, too,
125
is that,
points for only that.
Another thing too is Lord Doom exists. You're spawning pogs or bystanders, excuse me.
Sure.
So, yeah.
That is true.
But the next figure I really want to talk about, and I think this is a figure that, I at least me personally, for sure, gonna want multiples of, and I think a lot of people are gonna feel the same way. So this is gonna be a figure I'm saying scoop up right away, get as many as you want right away, because people are only gonna want more of these. I think, and the fact that we don't get much DC, I think this is another figure that's really gonna hold value, and that's the Flash. 3 separate dials. They're all very cool. You got a TK one, an Outwit, a nice offensive piece. He's PD with wild card. He's got a slew of great keywords, and his mechanic is just so fun. I think this really appeals to a lot of players. I think he has the potential to be meta. I think he's just really fun. Great sculpt again. It's a popular character. Like the stars lined up for this guy. This is definitely a super rare you want to pick up right away if you have any interest in him.
This definitely hits on all the main things we talked about last time when you were on.
Oh, yeah,
where
definitely.
it's a character that people like, the Flash, got a cool sculpt, high rarity, super rare, and then meta potential. He checks all the boxes.
And you want multiples.
Yeah.
And you want multiples.
So like
he checks all the boxes to be
like
expensive.
super rare Wolverine, where you'd never see a single super rare Wolverine. It was no one was playing him at 150.
Right.
It was multiples at 50.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll never see this Flash where someone puts only one on the board if they're playing casually. I don't even know if you see if I have the potential to put 2 of these on the board casually, I'm probably doing it. It might be a little gross, but yeah, like it's still something where I'm gonna want minimum 2, and if everybody wants minimum 2,
You're gonna see some price action for sure. People are gonna be looking for this guy. I think there's no question about that.
Yeah.
Another thing I just wanted to mention was the Isotope E, the one that comes with High Evolutionary.
Oh yeah.
If
He's
you
30
wanted
points.
to play 2 on the same dial, you could potentially do that with him. So I thought that was a little cool.
Yeah, you can
By bringing one in from the sideline,
you can do all kinds of things with this Flash. I don't know if you need more than 2 for competitive or casual, but there's 3 dials, so why wouldn't you want at least 3? Like, I mean,
exactly.
that makes sense for me. And in a set with the new Wonder Woman team ability that gives you a +1 on super senses, that first dial with the double charge, if he copies
He's
the
also
Wonder Woman team
leadership,
ability,
too.
that's a 50-50 roll there.
Yeah, he's pretty nasty. So this next figure I'm actually pretty on the fence about. The Lex Luthor super rare. I think he's really cool. I think a lot of people wanted him in HeroClix. With that last Superman Wonder Woman set, we didn't get to see him.
Absolutely.
But looking at the prices of those chases, the only one that really held value and consistently was worth more was the Brainiac chase, and that's because he was an equipment. So I'm not sure how popular this Lex Luthor actually is. I think he's really fun. I don't necessarily think he's game breaking. I think people will do some cool stuff with him. So I really don't know how to look at him. I did want to mention him. I wanted to get your guys' opinion on that. Is Lex Luthor somebody that you're going to be rushing to get? He's also unique, too, so you're only going to need one. Personally, I want one, but I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about this figure.
He's got the same Ares conundrum that we just kind of talked about.
Right.
Where great for casual people. Casual people are going to want this figure. It was a figure that we were denied for years, I'll say.
Yeah.
He is unique, so that means if you have more than one of him, it's not worth holding on to more than one. So I think he hits a high price point right away and then will immediately dip pretty low because,
people will forget about it.
Yeah, and it's a figure that I definitely want, but I'm definitely willing to wait on. So if he drops down to the 15, the 10 to 15 kind of range, that's a price I'm willing to pay. But I can see him starting at a higher range because, people want to complete that red sunset.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I agree with the same thing Simeon said, with only one small stipulation, which is what I also said about Ares, where if someone figures out the right way to build with him and everything, then his price shoots up. So we could see a Punisher War Machine type deal where it's he's high right away because he's a cool character, alternate version of a character. The sculpt is cool. There are also people that just need to complete that collection. So he checks all those boxes, but his, I don't know what you would call it, practical application isn't obvious. And it's a really tough way to work around what he is lagging from right now. So
I would agree with
unless
that.
there's someone who starts with, or it starts popping up and you're like, oh, dang, this is how we activate, or this is how we do whatever. His price is high. It stagnates. It may go up if they figure out a consistent way to make him work type of deal. So,
and to be fair,
I think that's spot on.
Yeah, he will be immediately, even disregarding, some future thing that we find with him, he will be immediately useful with Jason. The Bizarro and Green Light.
Yes,
are both
that is
real
also
solid.
true. That is also true.
So you'll only be able to play one, and it'll have to be on your sideline. But those are both they're solid stats: 11 for 4 and 11 for 3 with penetrating damage on the Green Light.
Yeah,
pretty solid.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, you can never rule out Jason if somebody spawns a paw.
That's right.
Let me just reach back. Now, Simeon, is that interset or intraset?
Yeah.
Oh goodness gracious.
That would be an intra set because it includes multiple sets. Thank you, Jason, for doing such a thing until you rotate, hopefully soon.
The next figure I wanted to talk about in the super rare section is Felix Faust.
Yeah.
This guy I think is incredible. I love his dial. 8 range, Mystic, Psychic Blast, Outwit, Prob, and Enhancement, not Perplex, the 3 powers, Outwit, Prob, and Enhancement, of course. But then also his movement ability of being able to place him in a square up to 4 squares away from his current square. No line of fire required.
No line of fire, yeah.
He's going to be a really easy enhancement piece to position with. He is unique, so you're not going to need multiples. He also has a trait that kind of messes with your opponent's use of those powers. Or actually, it is Outwit, Prop, and Perplex, excuse me. So I think he'll find his way on a lot of teams. Mystical keyword, usually pretty solid. I think this is a piece that a release price, it'll probably stay around there. I think he'll get used a lot, but because he's unique, people are only going to need one. So I don't think he'll spike insanely high, but I think it's a safe buy right away. And I think it's a safe buy, a month from now. I don't think he'll do much, but I think he will be a higher priced super rare.
Yeah. Mystical being his only keyword, I don't think he fits a ton of theme teams, and Justice League isn't too bad. But literally, the 4 square ability to zap through walls, any terrain, just get out of harm's
It's
way,
just it's
away
so
from
good.
opposing
with
characters.
Enhancement too.
Yeah,
You're just positioning so well with him.
For 30 points. I mean, Valeria did the Chase Valeria did a similar thing, but she depended on a roll, and a 4 is higher than what her average roll would tend to be. So he just like automatically quote unquote succeeds, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah, the ability to shut down opposing powers within 8 squares on a specific roll is pretty awesome. On a 6, you deal him 1 penetrating damage, also really good.
Yeah, he's just a solid all-around figure. I think definitely a figure. If you're looking at competitive play, or if you're looking at getting kind of into that nature, definitely one you want to pick up. I think Felix Faust will be a solid figure for a long time.
Yeah, and he's no slouch. I mean, for like a casual Secret Society or Injustice League theme team, he's definitely going to pull his weight at either point value.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%.
Being a unique, he falls into the same category of like the previous uniques that we mentioned, where since you'll only be able to play one, he doesn't even generate bystanders like the other two. I think maybe a higher cost on the offset, and then probably dips a bit. But because that metal potential at the 30-point line, it's hard to say. He really could just hold value or even go up if people really start playing a lot of him.
That's why I really think it's a safe buy out the gate. It's a safe buy a month later. Really, unless he just becomes like the most used piece ever, I don't think that's the case. I think he'll be pretty stagnant, but I think he will be higher priced. So definitely one to look out for. If you can snag him for a good deal, I say do so. Moving on to the next one here. I wanted to talk about Chip. I think Chip is just so awesome. Sidestep TK prob, carry 8 for 35 points. Can also summon constructs. I don't believe Chip comes with one.
He does not.
But I really like this figure. I think he'll be one of the better taxis. I also think it's a character that I think people will be willing to pay for just because he's funny. Like it's a squirrel with a Green Lantern ring. Can you really ask for more? So I think him being Chip, just the character itself, will probably attract a higher price. And then I also think he's just really useful in the meta. You're probably not running multiples of him, even though he isn't, he's not unique. But I think this is another figure that you might want to pick up right away because I could see him holding value just for being Chip.
Yeah, I think with the exception of that super rare Green Lantern, that 051 that has the 19 defend, for a much different purpose, I think this Chip might be the best taxi in the game.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, I just can't think of like a solid reason why he wouldn't be. Prob, TK, the ability to, without like the reduction to speed, he's got a 10 square speed where he can carry 8 people. Right. So if you're playing an animal theme team or just playing outside of theme team, now that you can carry flyers and you don't reduce speed and all that stuff, I don't see why you don't have a 35-point piece just carry your entire team up. Like, that's really, really solid.
And on top of that, being able to sidestep while also carrying 8, like, you're talking about massive repositioning. And I really like that. I really like that.
Yeah, because even when he's double tokened, just being able to sidestep, reposition your entire squad to a better kind of situation, that's really big. Renee Tilly for 55 points. I used to play her because she had that same kind of combo.
Yeah, she was super good.
Yeah, she couldn't carry 8, but she could also, she could sidestep, carry 3, I think it was, and had universal kind of prob stuff. So, yeah, a really solid piece. And then, not to not mention, but any of the super rares that come with equipment, probably pretty decent. They're going to be higher than the normal super rares, of course.
I was going to close out with that. I wanted to talk specifically about the 062 Wonder Woman, so the one with the the KC armor. Is that accurate? Is it her golden armor, whatever.
She's not played as if she's from KC for whatever reason. Her dial isn't like doesn't have the KC keyword, doesn't have the KC team ability for who knows why. But yeah, it's the gold armor that looks like the KC stuff. So I don't know.
So we'll say KC. However you want to phrase it, those listening. But I think the object that she comes with is just absolutely insane. I think this piece will be worth a considerable amount because of that object.
Yeah.
For those unaware, it gives invulnerability for 10 points. And if you have the Wonder Woman team ability, not printed, so you can copy this, you take a maximum damage of 1 on your top click.
Yeah, it's like
so
a
wild
click
cards,
2 stop click.
I guarantee you there are
every
a few that
wild
can
card.
abuse it.
Yeah. Pretty nuts.
And so I think she's going to be one of the pricier super rares, probably one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, just because that equipment it's just so good. She's also shifting focus, which is another thing. If the shifting focus Wonder Woman becomes a thing in Modern, you're going to want this Wonder Woman. You're going to want that equipment to swap out. So I think the equipment just has so many practical uses that, you're going to see an uptrend in her price. I would say this is a figure that you want to pick up right away because once it's gone, people are not going to want to get rid of their object that they can use for, as long as it's modern.
Yeah.
That gives invuln down the dial. Like we've seen objects that give invuln before, and they saw a pretty considerable amount of play. So
yeah,
I really think the equipment here, it's going to be high value. You're going to want to get one of these ASAP.
And we there was plenty of super rares that we didn't mention for the most part because we think they'll dip. The title character Wonder Woman might as well be unique because title characters you can only play one. Mm-hmm. So any title character will usually settle at like a decent price. They're usually super rares, but should settle at a decent price because you can only have the one, so it's basically unique. Most of the other super rares that we didn't mention,
they
great
just don't
for
do
casual,
anything stand out amazing.
That's kind of the sad part about all title characters is besides several like flashes in the pan, like an incredibly sexy individual winning a certain state that has like Mount Rushmore in it or whatever, like besides that incredibly attractive, sexy, good looking, strong, handsome son of a gun who won with a Captain America resilient title character.
I was
like that,
WWE theme
we don't see we don't see a ton of title characters do crazy well, and this one is no crazy standout either. So
last of mention
cool.
in
she's
the
just
super rare section,
amazing,
would be the super rare Prime, and so
Okay.
this was recently previewed.
the Black
I'm
Lantern.
still a little on the fence with this.
Yeah,
the Black Lantern Wonder Woman, and I think the only reason you'd really see her price drive up is because she's a Black Lantern. I know there are some people who are just absolutely crazy about the Black Lanterns. And it is a very high rarity piece. You can argue that this is rarer than a Chase, right? The super rare Prime's hard to come by.
Yeah.
Her dial, I don't think is like standout amazing. I like the 2 stop clicks at the end. Am I taking my Prime slot for Wonder Woman? Probably not. I think she's fun, but I don't think she's viable enough to really see that massive super rare Prime price that we've seen in the past. I think she's definitely going to be expensive. But I don't think this is a figure that will necessarily retain its value or massively spike. I think this is going to be one that maybe opening day is in the $80 to $100 range, and will probably sit there or go lower, in my opinion.
I think she's a sell right away for sure.
I would sell her immediately.
I would.
That's just me.
Day one kind of sell, but I don't think that she'll ever be cheap. So
I agree with that.
From the Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls, the super rare Prime was a Green Lantern Harley, and she still sells for a decent amount. I wouldn't say that she's expensive,
so, right?
But about 50 to 60 depending on when you catch it. And so day one, this super rare Prime Wonder Woman could probably go for 100, maybe more. But
I would agree with that.
6 months down the line, it's still going to be worth something. Probably not half of what it was originally going for or what it topped out at, but still, it'll have some value. It's not like you're gonna have a completely valueless figure, but I definitely, in that situation, you don't buy day one. You wait until the set's old and people are done with it.
This is definitely a wait to purchase.
Yeah, and then you get your Black Lantern Wonder Woman that you need to complete your team or whatever.
Okay, so exciting part, the chases. In this set, I think 3 of the chases in this set are just absolutely absurd, and if you can pick them up, definitely do so. So we'll just talk about the 3 most prominent ones first, I think. And I would like to talk about Scarab first because this piece is just insane. This piece breaks the game. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just start by reading the damage power that he starts with on both of his starting lines, and that's 75 and 50. And that is, the training wheels are off. Scarab can count squares for range and line of fire from unheld objects and opposing equipped characters. When Scarab attacks this way, he deals a maximum of 1 damage. So we're talking about a map-wide reach who can shoot through objects and equipped characters. Run somebody up, have them drop an object, Scarab shooting. Or if they're just already equipped, which most teams, they're running equipment, Scarab's just shooting them from the starting area, doing whatever he wants. This figure is insane, and that doesn't even mention his trait, which is free. Choose an adjacent character. Until your next turn, Scarab can use the effects of all equipment equipped to that character. So not only is he shooting from across the map, he's copying from the equipment of another character adjacent. Which means, if you have Reality Gem, like, oh, hey, here's a Perplex. If you have Time Gem, here's a Prob.
Well, Power Gem, then he's shooting you for a 13 or 12 for 4 with the Power Gem if you end up going that route.
He can only deal 1,
sweet.
though.
Oh, that is true.
It still boosts his attack.
Yeah, it's still fantastic, but
and he still has 6 range.
Just absurd.
So it's not like regardless of the special damage power, he's still a solid 50 points. He's not nearly as solid without that special damage power, but he's still a solid 50-point dial. So copying like Astronomer next to him, copying a Power Gem, and shooting somebody only 6 squares away from him, still like super viable. A 12 for 4,
very strong.
Pretty nuts for 50. A Reality Gem being able to perplex down, like, because he doesn't have to be equipped. He's just copying somebody next to him, perplexing down an opposing character that's equipped with something, and he can't, they're across the board. He has traded Outwit, so he can just outwit from across the board.
Yeah. If you have 2 Scarabs that are both equipped with something, and they're adjacent to each other, they can just essentially both be double equipped the whole game, and it just gets real nutty. I think people are going to want him. Obviously, he's going to be insanely expensive from day one, and I think he's only going up from there. People are going to run multiples, and really, there's going to be teams he fits better on, but this guy, you could put him on anything, and he'll get his points worth.
Yeah.
Mystic's team ability, too, if that wasn't mentioned. This guy just doesn't stop. Yeah. He's absurd. This
being
is
able to pick off a Retaliator that's, without moving out of your starting area, pretty solid. There's a ton of stuff. The Secret 6 team ability, that's, only really good if you're playing all 6, like a full 6 Secret 6 team. But in that case, there's no protected Outwit or Safeguard Outwit. So you get around Power Cosmic, you get around Stop Clicks, you get around a lot of stuff, and he has traded Outwit. So, yeah, it's on the right team.
And that team will have 6 Outwits too, so you can really just say, I ignore this part of the game, I ignore that part of the game, I'm not counting range. Oh my, it just gets ridiculous. So yeah, Scarab, if you end up pulling one, hold on to it and sell it later, because he is only going to go up.
I think he'll be a little bit cheaper on release. Maybe he'll be extremely expensive on release because people will know. But I could see him going from 125 on release to 150, 175 a couple months later and holding that for quite a while. Because, he does something that no other character currently in the game does, and that's draws line of fire and range from an opposing character, basically. Like, either from an equipment that's unheld, like let's say they don't have anyone equipped, you can place a light object adjacent to their starting area. And so that's just in itself kind of a scary thought. They have to waste an action to get rid of that light object. If they come equipped, then they are just permanently, for that entire game, until they somehow lose that equipment, they are permanently stuck being able to be targeted from Scarab no matter where he is, because you can draw, unless they have stealth, I guess. But yeah, for the entirety of the game, he can draw a line of fire to their square from their square, because that's how line of fire works. It's really crazy.
Point. Yeah, it sucks. It is crazy.
It sucks.
Reminds me of the
best way to put it.
Yeah, it does suck. Dude, to me, it sucks. Because there used to be like a cyborg that did that. This kind of brings back to like Iron Pharaoh type days where it's like, man,
yeah,
Omni can attack me in the starting area, and it does not feel good.
How many points was Phantom X from Wolverine and the X-Men? He was...
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Because they were all over 100. Yeah. Iron Pharaoh was the cheapest at like 110. And this dude can be...
same stats,
he's
similar powers.
50, which is wild.
And could draw a line of fire from a bystander. So, yeah. Yeah, it's
wild, man.
If you get Scarab, just know that you got the figure. You got the figure from Wonder Woman 80th. That is what you're looking for, is Scarab. And, do what you want with it. But if you're holding on to it, unless he gets errata, he's only going up. He will stay useful. No question.
I think so.
The second figure, I think, is the Commissioner. This guy is also just, disgusting, really. Where do you even start with him? Dual team abilities that are both useful. At 25 points, you can play him too. So PD, Underworld, he has leadership. He has power once per game, generate a rookie bystander. The rookie bystander has Batman TA, also police team ability. He's got running shot, psychic blast, impervious. And then if Commissioner is within range and line of fire, he has probability control as well. 7 range, dual target, 11 attack damage. Like, this guy is already for 25 points. If you just got this Pog, it's pretty worth it. But he does a ton more on top of that. Traded out wit, sees through hindering, and then he also has power. Choose an adjacent friendly character that shares a keyword with the Commissioner. The chosen character can make an attack using its printed combat values. After resolutions, if they missed all targets, give them an action token. This guy just doesn't stop either. For 25 points, you're getting leadership, a great Pog, 2 great copyable team abilities, an outwit through stealth. He is unique, so you're not ever going to use multiples of him. But I think this is another figure that's going to start high, and he's only going to stay there. This is an incredible figure.
And does this not points. Combo with the Scarab, where power chooses an adjacent friendly character? Scarab shares the secret 6 keyword, so you can make an attack with Scarab for 1 penetrating damage, or I guess it would just be max of 1 damage. But you can make an attack with that, and then you can have Commissioner give a power action to Commissioner to have Scarab do basically a free attack, again counting line and fire through an opposing equipment or an equipped character.
And if a character is double tokened while you give that free attack, there's no penalty if you miss, because you're already double marked.
Right.
Which is just
actually
insane.
There's only an upside for Scarab, because then he gets 2 shots at a turn to roll a 10 or higher within Justice League, so he can take a token off. Like, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. It's nuts.
He just keeps moving, man.
Nuts.
Yeah,
for 25 points.
You could talk about this guy all day. Just know he's absurd. He does way too much for his point cost. He's got pretty solid keywords. If you pull him, once again, hold on to him, because he'll be useful for a long time.
And this is one of the rare exceptions where because Commissioner's a unique chase. This is one of the rare exceptions where I say a unique probably goes up in price, because it's not that people will be using multiples, but every team that runs Secret 6, any team that runs
and Jason Wingard,
anything.
And
Yeah, Jason Wingard.
Yeah.
Once
Because-
again, Jason
Yeah.
Wingard. It all comes back to Jason Wingard,
Yeah,
baby.
no lie. The rookie, like, don't even like. There's no
I mean, the
other
rookie's way better than the
figure.
Green Light in the same set, dude.
The
He's
rookie
great.
is the best best bystander that we've seen in modern.
I'd
which
agree.
It's
agree.
gross for 25 points. If the rookie was a bystander that cost 25 points, I'd pay it just to play the rookie.
Yep.
5 square running shot that has 7 range. That's a 12 square reach with an 11 attack for 3 penetrating damage, and then it's got 18 impervious. Not even considering the fact that it's a single base giant, so it can roll for willpower. It has stealth because Batman ally. It has the police team ability, so it's dropping defenses for friendlies. It's doing tons of stuff. All of this is just nuts. What are they thinking?
It's not fair. This is another
What are they
character
doing?
that falls in the category of, oh, this kind of sucks. And not that the figure does, but geez, like, what game are we playing, you know?
Absolutely.
The next figure, so this is number 3 on my list for probably the top chase that you'd like to pull in your brick case, you know, whatever you're buying. And that is Sky Tyrant. I think this guy is also just absurd. Once again, you got the traded out with the Secret 6 trait. But then he also has a trait, which is when Sky Tyrant KOs an opposing character, which you know he's going to do, give him a reincarnation token. When Sky Tyrant would be KO'd, you may instead remove a reincarnation token and turn him to click 7. So, this guy is already going to be hard to put down because he's going to come in your face. Well, Jesus. He's going to run up in your face, and he's going to do some damage because he also has a move ability, which is Flurry. Charge, but do not have speed. When Sky Tyrant hits, after resolutions, he may move up to half his speed using improved movement characters. So this guy's coming at you with an 11 movement, with Charge, Flurry, Exploit, and then an Outwit on top of that. Let's say he brings an object along for his good buddy Scarab. So he just gets to run up, and he can also Quake with this Flurry too with the new rules.
And
so
it's
he can
penetrating.
just run up.
Yeah.
It's insane. 2 penetrating damage to everybody around him. After actions, move back, throw down an object for your buddy Scarab. Scarab shooting him. And then if he kills something, unless you're pulse waving him, because that trait is not protected pulse wave, he's coming back to life. And he's just going to be a pain to deal with. Like, even if you're not playing him with other Secret 6 figures, this guy is just running up to you and he's dishing.
Oh yeah.
He's hurting you bad.
I
And
would
he's also
love
non-unique,
to. So
there you go.
in a Secret 6 build, if I'm being a dirtbag that's running a Secret 6 team, I'm using the reality gem with somebody. I'm TKing Sky Tyrant out. I'm having Scarab copy the reality gem and TKing him again. And then I'm using my full movement charge to get across the board and Quake one of your like Colossals, like your Colossal Retaliator. And then, like, since it's penetrating damage, I'm most likely killing it because I've got 2 perplexes on that as well. So I'm a 13 attack. I'm quaking your Colossal, killing it, and then getting one of these reincarnation tokens because I KO'd something. So even if you have another Colossal that you retaliate on me against and you manage to hit him to his KO, he's not even dead. And at that point, I've invested like almost nothing into this 50-point piece. I still have both of my like other figures. I've got like my Scarab and whoever I had equipped with the other reality gem.
Probably Commissioner,
Sure.
Like,
yeah. It's like it's just at this point it's
dumb.
absolutely nuts. And for the investment, we're only talking 125 points plus a reality gem, so 135 points. That's not even half my build, and I've got a figure that can get across the board, Flurry with 2 targets, or Quake, and both of those do penetrating damage. So I'm either hitting 3 twice, or I'm flurrying and doing Quake to a group of people twice for 2 penetrating damage or 6 penetrating damage to a single person. Like, it's a lot for 50, which I feel like is what I said about Scarab, but he is also
this guy is
a lot for
almost
50.
in the same boat. He's a pest. He's going to be really hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And more than likely, he's going to be hitting you first.
Yeah, and this is similar. So another, that was your top 3. Another of my big wants from this set, and I know it's one of Calder's big wants, has a similar deal, and it's Guy Gardner, who can quake.
Yep. That's who I wanted to talk about next.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He is going to be so cheap from release. You should sell him right away. I would say $30 or so to me, because he is tanking in value.
Maybe
Constructs,
$10 even.
Yeah, honestly, $10. I really feel bad if you pulled a Guy Gardner. With just the way constructs are so open-ended with the rules right now, he's just not worth it.
You just
no
have
one
no
else can
idea.
use it but him. Is just trapped. Yeah, it's too much of a volatile market for you to try to invest in right now. So you should just give it to me. Thank you.
I think he's pretty straightforward. Charge Quake piece with
But
massive
realistically,
Yeah.
there's
So
there's great amounts of damage you can do with Guy here.
And then
He's
you're
not
summoning
the
a
full charge
construct.
that Sky Tyrant is.
No.
But what he lacks in that, he makes up for with his construct that he makes and the just absolute mass amount of damage he can deal to a grouped up team. So take that Green Lantern super rare that we were talking about, who can give everyone like a 19 with defend.
Oh, this is his worst nightmare.
This team up is like literally the scissors to your paper, if you're like, for that idea.
For those of you who play rock, paper, scissors.
For those competitive rock, paper, scissors players. So yeah, he's got Quake, and when he uses it and targets 2 or more characters, instead of dealing 2 damage, he deals damage equal to the number of opposing characters that are adjacent plus 1. So if it's 2, he's dealing 3 to both of them. If it's 3, he's dealing 4 to all 3 of them, and it just goes up. There is a cap point where he can't be adjacent to more than 8, and it would be impressive to me if you could get him next to 8 people and do this. But
maybe
still. And the biggest thing is it's penetrating, because exploit combos with that.
Baby.
So not only is he dealing potentially like 5 to 4 people or something, it's 5 penetrating damage. So he's one of the few figures in the set that can go toe-to-toe with Sky Tyrant for the same points.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Potentially, come up on top depending on the setup.
Definitely. I think the last one really of note for me, and then the rest of them will be quick, is King Shazam. I think he has a really interesting mechanic, but after just talking about these 3 like literal gods in Heroclix, you look at him and go, okay, well, you're not that special. So he has, the trait where when King Shazam is not on click 11 and would be damaged by an opponent's attack, you may instead note your current click and turn him to click 11, where he has a special attack power, which is the first time this click is revealed, King Shazam has immune until your next turn. Power. Make a close attack targeting all adjacent opposing characters. Hit characters are dealt 3 penetrating damage instead of normal damage. After resolutions, turn King Shazam back to his last noted click. So more than likely, you're only doing this once per game because he only has a 14 blank defense on that click 11. But, he's also going to be really hard to deal with. He'll just run up in your face. If you deal with him, you better have a way to either kill him on that click, but he's immune, so good luck, or to get away from him because he's going to be dealing 3 penetrating. He's also Mystics, 11 move charge with exploit. I don't think he's doing as much as the other guys, but I definitely think he's going to have some merit for price just because his sculpt is incredible. It's a popular character once again, and definitely some potential for use there. I think it's a mechanic that people are definitely going to play test with, and maybe they find something really viable there.
Yeah, so we saw Mr. Porter pull him. We saw Ares Edge in the Dishing Up Clicks video. He pulled him. It's an amazing sculpt, and for the sculpt alone, the character alone, I think it's like a Batman Who Laughs kind of situation.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Maybe it's not the most competitive of the ones that we've talked about, but it's still going to be like everybody wants one kind of situation. And not for nothing, he's got a trait that's better than a stop click, because stop clicks can be worked around, they can be gotten through. He goes to a click and is immune, so he has like a turn where you just straight up cannot KO him. at best, you can in-cap him or something. You can get him with 2 action tokens and then knock him to that click, and then he just can't do anything for a turn. But even then, he's immune that turn, so you just cannot deal with him until the turn afterwards. So yeah, I don't know if he fits anything. I mean, clearly he's not going to fit anything that I'm playing.
Yeah.
Because that's just not, this is not something I really reach for. But with the Secret Six, with Ruler, Mystical, Monster, Deity, he's got so many options of stuff to be played with. And for 50 points, he's got a lot of life to be had. He's got a lot of decent stuff going on, decent stats, decent power combos. Yeah, it's just a really solid figure. I don't see him dropping in value because the sculpt alone is really cool. Shazam is really cool. We've got a Black Adam movie coming out soon. Not that that really means anything, but maybe people really want more Shazam stuff in their life. Who knows?
Hard to tell. So the last chases that I wanted to touch on, don't need to discuss much for Dial. There's not a whole lot going on with them, but just a few things to note. The first one would be that Blue Lantern Flash. I think people will want him just because he's cool. I think he'll be a bit high on release, and then, he'll more than likely come down. I could be wrong about that. He could just be incredibly popular, but I just don't think he's playable enough. I think people will primarily want him just because it's Blue Lantern Flash.
That's fair, yeah.
I'd say the same thing for Yellow Lantern Hal Jordan as well.
I mean, he's straight garbage, though. He's actually bad. So you got to get rid of him right away.
Cool. He's really cool.
Yellow Lantern, yeah.
This is not the Guy Gardner joke. Yellow Lantern Hal is actually just really bad. You guys got to get rid of him.
The reverse Dial.
Yeah. His boot so far does absolutely nothing. Oh, on a Bizarro world, he's great. Absolutely.
Yeah, in a Bizarro
until they fix Construct,
he's fine.
His boot sucks. It literally does nothing until they fix it. It moves characters around, which is woo-dee-doo.
For those of you who don't know, the boot has Close Combat Expert, and in the same set that the constructs were made, on the back of the constructs it says they cannot have their stats modified.
Yeah, literally on the same card. It doesn't say by opposing characters or friendly characters. It just says, or other characters, which would be probably what it's going to get errated to. But yeah, on the same exact card, it says their combat values can't be modified with a modifier.
Yes.
So,
right.
Yikes.
It's such below average values. He's got sidestep, invuln, energy explosion. If you gave me the mehist opening powers, it would be these powers. Okay. For a 50-point figure, for what we're used to, these are a lot better values than what we're used to. But for what's in the same set at the same point line, this dude is straight garbage.
Yeah, you're not playing this guy. He might hold some value just because he's cool, but other than that, don't see a whole lot going on there.
Jessica Cruz, I could see fitting a Justice League theme team, and that's probably about it because she can generate
her values and stats, powers are a lot better.
They're a lot better
but
than
he also comes with a construct,
Pals.
and that's the big thing.
Yeah, the
usable construct for sure. Yeah,
making everybody energy shield deflection, carrying 10 squares, or running shot 5 with 6 range. She also has one of the best support powers now, which is enhancement for boosting range damage. And that's not nothing when you're a taxi, like a glorified taxi for 50 points. But yeah, I honestly, I don't think the rest of the lanterns, in my opinion, the lanterns are going to be the first thing I sell, other than Guy Gardner. They'll be the first thing I sell. The ones that we didn't mention, Deathbringer and Supergirl of the Secret Six, will also be ones that I'll be selling or trading for different ones.
Sinestro as well.
Yeah. Sinestro.
I think he's got a really interesting construct. I don't see the practical application for it yet.
I don't either. I don't see it.
Yeah. It's tough for me to visualize how Sinestro is going to be useful. I think he could be. There's some wacky way that someone can probably make him work, but I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
I just hate that he has Psychic Blast and Close Combat Expert.
That's weird.
Just why?
I could see Sinestro with Molecule Man, where it's rough because hindering and water terrain no longer slow people. So when it says opposing characters within 2 squares can't use improved movement, that's literally only elevated and like outdoor blocking, or like if they have phasing, I guess, or characters. So it's characters, elevated, and some form of blocking. And that's not... It's just not something that I can guarantee.
Nothing incredible.
Like, with Molecule Man, I could drop water, or I could drop hindering, but that no longer hinders people for movement. So, what am I doing with that? It's not nothing, because it does have barrier, but I don't think you're playing Sinestro just because he can drop a barrier pog.
So yeah, that's pretty much the set.
Yeah. I do think the play-at-home kit Wonder Woman is viable for play. Absolutely in casual. I have no idea in competitive, but she drops a pog that has the Wonder Woman team ability and super senses. So if you're playing
who could that be good for?
If you're playing someone
Waste
like
Jingard?
Yeah, like Waste and Jingard. If you're playing someone like that and you just really need or if you just need a solid Wonder Woman to copy the Wonder Woman team ability from, this one has Justice Society, Justice League Warrior, and then also makes a taxi that can carry people. So yeah.
But overall, people, this will more than likely be, I'm pretty sure at this point we know it's a 1 chase per brick set. Correct?
That's what was
promised
it is. So that's stores. So that wasn't promised to customers, but it was promised to stores. So whether or not that actually... this is a DC set, and most of the Batman animated series had 12 chases, and that's how it was. Rebirth had fewer chases, and that's not how it was.
They had 8.
Yeah.
From what I know, and what I've noticed from people, from people that they've been giving, and the most random people that they've been giving the product to, it seems like the 1 chase per brick seems to be fairly consistent.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're gonna have a House of X problem. So yeah.
Oh my. Ooh.
Yeah, I hope not. Didn't mean to bring that up. For those that bought it, I guess. Not me, I was smart, but for those that bought it, it is.
I actually the only case
gambling.
of House of X that I bought I used for prizing, and Lucas Tom Van Hollen got the chase I wanted. He doesn't even listen. I don't know why I shout him out all the time. But whatever. It's fine.
I'll make sure to clip it and send it to him.
Yeah, just go to his house and smash his old man Phoenix, if you would, please.
On it.
Yeah. No,
I wanted to close this off just saying, if you're a newer player, maybe you're not somebody who buys bulk product that often, I think this is a great set to consider in, because roughly half the chases are just so good, or at least very playable. And so you have about a 50% chance of pulling a chase that is, knocking the socks off of people. So, there's your value right there.
Just to throw it out,
super rares also great.
Even we kind of knocked the lanterns and their constructs, but even those ones should fetch around, I'd say 75 to 90 upon release. I think that's fair. Yeah. And so if you buy a brick for, I don't know, 107, or no, not 107. If you buy a brick for 150 and you pull a lantern, that's over half your brick's cost. And then you can sell probably, Felix Faust, or, whatever super rare that you didn't want, or maybe a prime or whatever. You can make your money back pretty easily on this set. And if that's what if you really want to trade, you really want a Guy Gardner or something, you'll probably have to throw more than your Flash or your or Hal Jordan, whatever, one of the worst lanterns, Sinestro. You'll probably have to throw more than a lantern for a lantern to them. but it's a pretty good deal in the long run, in my opinion. Trading your like a chase for one of the higher chases if you can.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the set analysis. Be on the lookout, folks.
That's Wonder Woman. All right, so yeah, and then we didn't really touch on it, but legacy cards, they exist. None of them are crazy stand out.
Yeah,
honestly.
they exist.
They exist, yeah. It's not.
You said it.
If you've got the figure, I mean, some of them look fun. The KC, the old KC Wonder Woman with the 13 blades looks fun. I'm not paying 175 points to play it, even in, like, they do give her the Wonder Woman team ability. She has no super senses anywhere on her dial, though. So I'm not playing that one, even, like, casually, because I don't own it. But what's the... Is it the L035 that came in Batman animated series, I think? Yeah,
legacy card for a modern character.
I actually own that one, so maybe I'll play that one if I get it. But
so maybe,
yeah. And we don't know what the other ones are, but we kind of do.
It's Balls of Fury.
Yeah, we saw
absolutely
that.
Confirmed.
I saw a post
a
about
Wonder Woman set.
Was confirmed. Sure. Yeah, that was confirmed on April 1st.
All right. So we're going to jump into community here.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
Just to end off the show, we got a couple of listener questions, and these are about as serious as they get, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to skip over the first one because we can't answer that on the show. Second one, though, Kalder and Simeon were each handed a can of dip and had to pack a horseshoe-sized lip. Which would likely vomit first?
Kalder.
So we're going to ask this to eat. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah,
okay, Ian, thanks for the
Kalder.
quick answer there.
It's not because
like
Kalder has like a weaker
no-brainer.
stomach or anything. It's because Kalder is a cleaner person and hasn't had as much nicotine coursing through his veins as me. So
Yes.
I've had
just
approximately zero nicotine coursing through my veins so far.
And that's what does it with dip, is like the sheer like shock of the nicotine hitting your system will make you vomit if you like shove
Dip
too
is
much
so
in.
awful. Ugh.
Oh yeah, I too would vomit. It would just be after Kalder did, because dip is disgusting.
Although, however, I'm taking a part in the fact is that you would be faster to get it inside your mouth than I am.
I have a much
stuff like
it's
that.
true.
So,
I might overcompensate and shove too much in. And
it could very well be
Kalder
even
puts
for
it
how
like a
fast
little
you
bit.
can do it, and then
Yeah.
for how grossed out I will be. Yeah. It could be the same. Either way, I know my father would be incredibly disappointed in me if that ever happened.
Disappointed.
Dips. Jeez. And then these are all from Chance McCall, by the way, super fan Chance McCall. And then he said, question for the show, why is Kalder so bad at drinking beer that even my girlfriend mocked him? To be fair, beer is disgusting.
Wow.
Thank you. That is all I can.
I was going to say,
real men drink
be
whiskey,
fair,
and that's all I've got to say.
To be fair, Calder's
To be fair, Chance
non-copyright
McCall, your
infringing
girlfriend is somebody that as soon as
I feel like you guys aren't being very fair, but you're both saying to be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair.
And Chance McCall, to be fair, as soon as you take your pills in the morning, your girlfriend goes away. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't even know what that means. Oh, yeah, okay, because he's...
Oh, I'm just saying he's like a crazy person. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now I get it.
You ever seen that TV show Legion? Kind of
Yeah,
like
dude.
Yeah. I was going to say,
Legion's a good
Calder's non-copyright infringing beer in in whatever that was, Extreme Rules.
I knew, no matter what, Extreme
it was
Rules.
highly carbonated, so it was forcing him to like breathe through excessive amounts of burps, and that's just a struggle that no one wants to deal with. It's like
I get
a Pabst,
hiccups really bad,
but
like
worse
super
than Pabst.
easy. Yeah. But all right, those are our questions, I guess. So if you want to ask us questions like this that we will for some reason answer on the show, you can do so either messaging the Twitter, the Facebook, or joining the Discord. And like we talked a lot about the Discord, but if you want to support us on Patreon, any tier at all gets you instant access like that to the Discord. The link is on Patreon. You can also get our really sweet tokens that we give away each month. All sorts of awesome stuff. This month, we already did the giveaways, a ton of Fantastic Four Future Foundation stuff. Next month, whatever product I can get my hands on of Wonder Woman will be given away. But if not in April, for sure at the end of May, we're going to give away all the extra stuff I couldn't move for some reason. So yeah, whatever I don't sell from Wonder Woman will just be given away on the Patreon. So there will be, at the very least, tons of legacy cards and rares and commons and uncommons that you will get for just doing the normal supporting stuff, as well as getting the stuff you would get for free, or well, for supporting us. You get what you pay for, and you also could get some extra. You join Patreon. Really quick before we totally end the show, I do want to do a Jedi Legend Heroclix tip of the week.
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
He says, given some pros to Force Blast in the past, under the 2021 rules, you now knock back an opposing character guaranteed 3 squares and at range, and you still don't need to die to roll for it, which is cool, but there is no damage, so quick reminder, knockback sucks. The power is different, that's the tip, but knockback still sucks, and it's absolutely garbo. So yes, you are welcome.
I don't even know if we know yet if you can knock someone off of elevated anymore, because of like how placement and stuff works. We're not completely sure until the core rulebook. I assume that's how it works. I assume at this point any question that I have, I defer to the older rules and assume that that's how it'll work. But who knows at this point?
Yeah,
right.
Hard to tell.
And we're going to shout out the YouTube channel really quick. If you want to see all these awesome cinematic universe that is Extreme Rules, you can watch all of the first promos we made and the game on our YouTube channel, as well as all the other games we threw up there. We have a series going on right now called Sculpt Swap. If you ever wanted to put a different character on a dial, or you wanted a certain property that WizKids hasn't gotten their hands on to put inside Heroclix, that's what we're doing on Sculpt Swap. Simeon's thrown some D&D figures on there. I had Hyper Tucsonic Clicks make me a custom Scourge. That was a movie version of Scourge because that felt like it was super missing from the gravity feed, and I put that on a Scourge dial. We also have our Thursday Throwdown series, which, Malcolm, I know you're listening to this. Whoa, we didn't answer your questions. I know, buddy. That's because Thursday Throwdown ain't over yet, baby. We are going to be going into now modern age sets because they're about to rotate anyways. Normally just been a golden age thing, but we take 2 sets, we pit them against each other, and you guys vote for the figures on our teams. So we've been having tons of fun with Thursday Throwdown. And with Wonder Woman coming up soon, there will be a Wonder Woman pitch meeting video, as well as some other dumb skit videos, I'm sure, around the corner. So check all that out on our Dial H for Heroclix YouTube
there's
channel.
Definitely some around the corner.
There's definitely some around the corner, ladies and gentlemen.
We
There's
also
some good
have
videos coming out.
The April video of the month that'll be dropping at some point in the month. That's not one of like the big videos, but it is as promised, an in-person video because of the Patreon hit the level.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to these guys because big things, they're coming. Oh, they're coming.
I wish we could give it away, but it's
just
too good. You guys gotta wait.
It's too good, ladies and gentlemen. It's too good. So before we end off the show,
for the trailer.
Oh yeah, the trailer itself is just already beautiful. So yeah, that's another big one, guys. But before we go, you guys want to do any shout outs really quick? If not, Simeon can read out the show.
Ian,
no
you got
shout
any
outs
shout-outs?
here.
No shout outs? All right. I'll just say I am tempted with these D&D figures. I am tempted to add those to the giveaways, but only if we get some people that are actually interested, since they will only be usable in like the casualist of settings, and as like shelf pieces. And of course, I am not the greatest painter, because you guys have probably seen them at this point. I really like how the ogre zombie turned out. The Manticore kind of looks like a clown, but if that's what you're into, and you really want them in the giveaways for our Patreon stuff, then I'm for it, I guess. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. So with that,
alrighty then.
If you'd like to,
it's still you, bro. You still got the mic.
If you'd like to get your finalized orders in for the Wonder Woman set, if you think that we've convinced you that there's enough value to be had, you can get that order in at coolstuffinc.com. DAO5 is the code to use to get 5% off. With a case, you can still get entered into that whole random con exclusive thing that they are doing. But I think there's enough value besides that, so check them out at coolstuffinc.com.
So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional...
Heroclix?
No.
Are you serious? Again? How many people even play this game? Like 100? Instant deadpan humor.
Over 6 people think I am funny.
It's a hard day's work. Not that you know anything about that. Would you?
You absolute fools, it's not
Witcher nonsense.
I'm gonna make Heroclix like that forever. Are you kidding me?
Hey Google, attack someone.
Let's attack Simeon because he's a jerk.
Wow, wow, wow.
And as always, happy trails.